As 2024 comes to a close, let's revisit everything we know about Meghan Markle's American Riviera orchard. In March of this year, Meghan Markle launched a new lifestyle brand titled American Riviera Orchard. To complement her landing page with email capture, she also hit publish on a new Instagram account with a brief promotional video that expired after 24 hours. At the time, insiders claimed Meghan had been working on this for over a year and described the project as all the things close to her heart, all the things she's passionate about. How vague, how predictable. Ara was immediately linked to Meghan's upcoming Netflix cooking show, described as a Martha Stewart or Barefoot Contessa knockoff. Someone certainly jumped the gun or the hype train. I don't know what PR or marketing professional would advise a client to announce a podcast in February or a lifestyle website in March and leave both projects stagnant for a year, but YOLO. The headlines were glowing. According to the New York Post, the name is a sweet nod to Santa Barbara, California, as it has been nicknamed the American Riviera for over a century. That quote would later bite them in the butt. Some thought it was a little elitist for Meghan, having only lived as a resident of Montecito for less than 4 years, to build an entire brand around it, masquerading as a local when she grew up, according to her, in the San Fernando Valley, where she grew up on the $4.99 salad bar at Sizzler. Grew up on the $4.99 salad bar at Sizzler.com not available? It honestly might have less trademark issues than American Riviera Orchard. But Meghan would argue that embracing American Riviera Orchard to erase her past is no different than calling a woman who only played a member of the British royal family for 19 months a duchess. Sources told the Post Meghan finds the name American Riviera Orchard perfect. It feels authentic to her. Insert cricket sound here. She can't wait for the website to launch. And neither can we, girl. It's been almost a year. Time is ticking. At the same time that Meghan was launching her Goop copycat website, in the literal midst of the Princess of Wales and King's health battles, insiders told the media that Harry and Meghan were being left out of the loop. According to People magazine, the Sussexes were aware of everything going on back in England, but were left out of any details regarding Kate. I know, she's the Princess of Wales. They called her Kate, not me. The source added, there is clearly no trust. Or decency, who launches a Tupperware website in the middle of such a severe health crisis. Highlights for Meghan's launch month included her first South by Southwest panel alongside Brooke Shields and Katie Couric in Austin, Texas. Meghan was bizarrely billed as a visionary female leader. I have a hard time understanding what is so visionary about copying Martha Stewart or Gwyneth Paltrow with a website, podcast, and television series that has yet to exist, but I digress. Some commentators were critical of the launch, with Tom Quinn telling the Mirror, it's really significant that Meghan's new American Riviera Orchard brand was launched on the same date as the Diana Award. Meghan has always seen herself as Diana's heir, Quinn said, adding, Meghan sees herself as suffering because of the media, just as she feels Diana suffered. But on this side of the pond, at least, there will be a huge amount of criticism that she is just trying to cash in on Diana's legacy. Meanwhile, Prince Harry did not attend the Diana Legacy Awards because he was skiing with Kris Jenner's boyfriend. I guess if you can't keep up with the Mountbatten Windsors, you might as well keep up with the Kardashians. In April, reports were already circulating that Netflix could step in to help run American Riviera Orchard after, quote, the Duchess failed to find a CEO. The initial CEO search has not panned out so far, a California-based source said. The Daily Mail reported that Meghan started negotiations in late April with Netflix about the streaming giant entering into a commercial partnership with Arrow. This is something new for Netflix, the source said. It would run the lifestyle business for Meghan, developing products as spin-offs from her show. If a partnership is agreed, Netflix would likely install its own CEO to run operations. A source also told The Express executives at Netflix are very interested in the notion of creating a new revenue stream for the company by linking Meghan's show to commercial sales via American Riviera Orchard. Whatever deal is eventually concluded, the feeling is that it won't come anywhere close to their original deal, at least not to start with. Now, I don't think I mentioned this later on in the timeline, but there is a recent article from the Daily Mail that mentions that perhaps Netflix would consider one-offs going forward if they don't continue a similar relationship professionally. Harry and Meghan might still have the option to present certain projects to Netflix, and Netflix might go, yeah, that makes sense. Yes, 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 and yes, or no, 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 and no. And then they could be compensated based on projects alone. And I think that that is a much more likely scenario than anything similar to the sweet, sweet deal that a lot of us would say they messed up pretty badly throughout the last 5 years. I mean, it shouldn't take 5 years to develop a cooking show, but no one's asked me. They continued, the idea is that, as well as promoting Meghan's company via her TV show, she can build the brand into a powerhouse venture with the same level of financial success as other celebrities like Gwyneth Paltrow and Jessica Alba. We'll get into Gwyneth Paltrow a little later. Still in April, social media posts from Meghan's friends indicated the official rollout for Meghan's new lifestyle brand had begun. But who in their right mind could have ever guessed it would be a jam? And how bizarre that within 30 days of sitting on the South by Southwest stage complaining about online bullying, Meghan would give her, albeit peeling, seal of approval to bona fide online bully Chrissy Teigen in the form of the sacred jam jar. Yes, a woman who once told a teenage girl to go off herself on social media was gifted one of Meghan's famous preserves. Others included Kris Jenner, Abigail Spencer, and Nacho Polo. The Daily Beast had the audacity to compare this to Beyonce's Ivy Park influencer gifts. I'm sorry, but thousands of dollars worth of free clothes from Beyonce does not compare to a bunch of bruised lemons. In May, new, equally vague details were provided about American Riviera Orchard. According to reports, RO's focus would be on home, garden, food, and general lifestyle content. They said the brand would sell a variety of home goods such as cookbooks, food, and kitchenware. Also, everyone keeps pushing rosé. I don't believe the rosé thing. I just don't think rosé takes years to develop, and I feel like it would be hard to keep that secret. And more people would be talking about it if it were true. My personal opinion, but I could be wrong. We're just a few months away from finding out whether I'm right or wrong, allegedly. Meghan was also spotted mid-photo shoot in Beverly Hills, with some commentators wondering if she was shooting promotional imagery for RO. Now, if you thought reaction to Meghan's Archetypes podcast was rough, RUFF, in June, Nacho Polo displayed a possum lack of self-awareness when he introduced the world to Meghan's American Riviera Orchard dog biscuits. I mean, just hours before the Princess of Wales was set to return to the public eye after her devastating cancer diagnosis. What an idiot. For sure. FUR, by the way. I got puppy puns. Fast forward to July, Page Six reported that Meghan attended a summit in the Hamptons titled the G9 Venture Summer Summit, hosted by a power broker named Amy Griffin. Meghan flew from Santa Barbara by private jet with entrepreneur Jamie Kern Lima, a contact of Oprah Winfrey's. According to reports, Meghan was there to pick up some tips for her stagnant lifestyle brand RO. News Nation later reported that celebrities actively avoided having their photo taken around or with Meghan. By this point, it has been reported that filming for Meghan's Netflix series had wrapped. Sources told Page Six that it would take months for the show to be edited, as it had to be synced up for countries around the world with audio and subtitles, and that it should be on our screens in early 2025. A source told Page Six that the show, where Meghan cooks and positions herself as a lifestyle guru like Stewart, looked gorgeous. By the way, Martha Stewart has said through friends that she does not consider Meghan Markle competition, so Martha's not over there with Snoop Dogg shaking in her boots. Prince Harry is rumored to make at least a few cameos in the series because what is anyone's interest in Meghan Markle without her royal husband? But they remained tight-lipped about whether he had an actual role in the show. The program was not filmed inside their home, but at different locations around Montecito in the Santa Barbara area. Regarding product, local farmers and manufacturers in Santa Barbara had not heard anything about Meghan's jam making, nor had they been approached to help out the brand. In August, it wasn't just Meghan's trademark irregularities making headlines. It was the fact that they had clearly replaced Omid Scobie with People magazine as their new mouthpiece. People reported that American Riviera Orchard had received several notices of irregularity around clarifications for goods and services and the reclassification of certain products. Quote, such inquiries are typical while pursuing international applications, we're talking trademarks here, due to the differences between international and U.S. standards, and all fees around such notices have been paid and no further action is required. Those payments are estimated to be around $11,000. People also insisted that American Riviera Orchard was on track to launch later this year. Where it at, yo? In an interview with the New York Times, Meghan explained that she's been investing in small brands since the pandemic. She now has between 5 and 10 brands in her portfolio. She explained that each company complements her lifestyle brand, American Riviera Orchard. What that says about Meghan and Aro after the Mail on Sunday's investigation discovering that the Rwandan women actually making Meghan's nearly $900 ethical handbags are sometimes paid as little as 10 cents an hour, I'll leave you to decide. 3 of Meghan's investments are coffee brand Clever, financial services company Ethic, and said handbag company Siesta Collective, which has proven to collect very cheap labor. To be fair, Meghan does not have a role in the company's management, but she has done more media to support Siesta Collective than she ever has for any of her Netflix projects. I think it will work this way. Meghan will invest in a company. Meghan will wear that company's clothes or endorse their product like she did in the New York Times and in Style magazine. And all of these tangible items will be available on AmericanRivieraOrchard.com. So she's making money 2 or 3 different ways, investing in these companies, affiliate links on her website. That's a way to monetize, or commission-based sales, another way to monetize. I think she wants to be like Oprah Winfrey's Favorite Things or Goop's famous lists, where female entrepreneurs are clamoring to be featured through Meghan Markle's Aro, like she is the chosen one. Meghan told the New York Times, times where I know there is a global spotlight and attention will be given to each detail of what I may or may not be wearing, then I support designers that I have a really great friendships with and smaller up-and-coming brands that haven't gotten the attention that they should be getting. She claims that's one of the most powerful things that I'm able to do, and that's simply wearing an earring. Meghan said she spends a lot of time just Googling and searching for brands she may be aligned with. Well, when you work an hour a week for Archwell, I guess that leaves you with plenty of time to Google. By September, friends close to Harry and Meghan were less confident about American Riviera Orchard's future. A source gloated to Page 6 about Prince Harry's blissful 40th birthday and life in Cali. Page 6 wrote, as Harry turns 40, sources say he has become more comfortable in California and within his life. One quote said, I think he has his convictions and he is determined, but I also think he's more unburdened than before. They were not as positive about Aro, saying that is a whole other story. Notably, while not quite American Riviera Orchard focused, in September, the Sussexes were hit with a scathing piece in The Hollywood Reporter titled Why Hollywood Keeps Quitting on Harry and Meghan. Meghan was so perturbed by this article that she responded with a bizarre crisis management Us Weekly cover. It did not squash the rumors. I hate to break it to her. No. Trademark issues persisted. The trademark office informed Meghan and her team that American Riviera was too vague a term, stipulating that she had 3 months to provide clarification, as well as paying an additional $700 to continue her application. That's a Siesta Collective bag. By October, multiple reports suggested that American Riviera Orchard's trademark headaches were too expensive for the Sussexes to continue to chase. Her bid to trademark the American Riviera Orchard name had run into what the Daily Mail described as a $1 billion problem. That's extreme. That is a large sum of money. They reported on an uncompromising form of a protest lodged with the United States Patent and Trademark Office by a firm owning the trademark Royal Riviera. The owner, Harry and David, an American company founded in 1934, boasts annual sales of $1.7 billion. That could pay for Harry and Meghan's trademark issues, and 3,300 staff members. The trademark protest was deemed relevant because of the likelihood of confusion and was referred to Marco Wright, the trademark office's examining attorney. What's a girl to do? Clearly, Googling the wrong things, because there have been plenty of hiccups along the RO Brick Road. Shockingly, come November, it was reported that Meghan could be brick and mortar bound. Speaking of roads, the Daily Mail claimed that Meghan/RO could soon be seen in 2 mega malls in Dallas, Texas, and Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, under the Netflix House umbrella. They said the unnamed show is due out early next year, and its debut will mark liftoff for her American Riviera Orchard brand, which is to sell homewares like china and glasses and consumables like jams and rosé. They add Netflix is in charge of the American Riviera Orchard merchandising operation, which is going to lean into the Duchess's status as a beacon of aspiration and inspiration. I should have warned you. I hope nobody was sipping a glass of water. I did. Aspiration and inspiration, LOL. Yes, because nothing says aspirational like your biscuit jam competing with the toe jam next door at the Foot Locker. The Daily Mail reported that Netflix will offer the perfect opportunity to showcase RO early next year. Netflix House will have interactive experiences based on shows like Squid Games, Bridgerton, and Stranger Things. Fun fact, there is nothing stranger than a woman who insists you refer to her as a duchess shilling Tupperware at a mall deep in the heart of Texas. I take it back, there was Fergie on QVC. It says there will be a physical point of sale for all merchandise based on Netflix hit shows, which Meghan hopes includes her high-profile foodie offerings. Maybe they will even do a pop-up American Riviera Orchard Bakery or Cafe. The streamer applied to trademark Netflix House within a week of Meghan registering for the American Riviera Orchard name at the U.S. Trademarks and Patents Office via her Delaware-based company, Mama Knows Best. Documents obtained by the Daily Mail show that Netflix House is nearly at the finish line for its trademark, while Meghan's application has hit a series of snags and objections. In November, reports resurfaced that Meghan Markle and Victoria Beckham were no longer on speaking terms, and that hostilities were likely heightened over the fact that Emmy-winning Victoria has a new project premiering on Netflix, likely before Emmy-less Meghan Markle's solo entertainment venture launches. Meghan was said to be furious over House of VB, Victoria's highly anticipated docuseries that will likely compete with her cooking show on the streaming platform in 2025. Are there going to be House of VB offerings at the Dallas, Texas mall? Inquiring minds want to know. Most recently, Page Six ran a suspiciously sweet headline titled Exclusive, Meghan Markle set to sparkle in 2025 with cooking, gardening, and entertaining, TV comeback, and brand launch. Sources. Yes, how many times have you read the words Meghan Markle comeback or Meghan Markle rebrand over the last few years, girl? There's no comeback from March 7th, 2021. The December puff piece claimed Meghan will make her return to public life with a bang in the new year. One Hollywood insider told Page Six they heard rumors the brand had become a SHIT show behind the scenes, but another source with a clear agenda told them Meghan's been keeping her cards close to her chest. The source also insisted that Meghan was never searching for a CEO. They said, I can tell you that she is the CEO of American Riviera Orchard, so all these rumors about her having a hard time finding a CEO are false. Chill. They claimed, as far as Meghan being quiet, she's been in the background working on her entrepreneurial efforts. Both the Netflix project and her brand will come out within the same timeline in the new year. Aren't we blessed? They claim it's going to be a good year for Meghan. Specifically, she spent the majority of the year doing work behind the scenes to launch a project in the first few months of 2025. That's funny. I would have argued that she spent the majority of the year walking random red carpets alone. When I was asked to comment on this article, I explained in great detail to Fox News, which they didn't use. This page 6 article was a carefully orchestrated distraction. This is what we call a news diversion in public relations. I think that this is a wag the dog moment where a publicist deliberately creates a distraction, something more attention grabbing, to distract from a negative headline. A clear example of this PR strategy at play was Meghan Markle allowing her team to sing her praises to Us Weekly magazine after the critical Hollywood Reporter story went viral. I thought the Markle Sparkle headline was I thought it was a direct response to Tom Sykes' story that ran in the Times, titled, Can Harry and Meghan's Polo Series Really Win Back Hollywood? Within hours of the page 6 story being published, Tom's story went live. And while you might think that's backwards, we know that Harry and Meghan's team were given a heads up about the content within the article days before, when Tom Sykes contacted them to ask for comment, to request a comment regarding his story. He says at the bottom of his story, the Sussexes were, contacted for comment. So my theory is that Harry and Meghan, or their team, in public relations, the strategy of planting another story to distract from a negative one is commonly referred to as a distraction campaign or news diversion. And page 6 is the perfect placement because their format has a strong blog component over the Times print format. You have to jump through legal and editorial hoops with a paper like the Times. With page 6, your story is live at the click of a button. Team Sussex could demand to have a scoop published immediately to beat a critical print piece. That's my point. It's part of a broader set of tactics known as crisis management or damage control. Specifically, this method falls under the concept of burying bad news or creating immediate deflection, which, what was so important to deflect from? Tom Sykes' brutal verdict on Harry and Meghan's Hollywood failures. According to Sykes, former polo teammates of Prince Harry were left in appalled hysterics by the trailer for the Sussexes' tacky new Netflix show about polo. One Hollywood executive told Sykes that the couple is running out of last chances to prove they can make compelling TV that is not about themselves, warning that their futures may lie in social media influencing. Sykes insisted that the public's lack of interest in Harry's polo show was a clear sign that Harry and Meghan's once bright star appears to be fading. That is not the energy Meghan Markle wants in preparing to launch a new television show and brand in 2025. That is why it is my opinion that her team is looking to develop a counter narrative by introducing positive stories like the one in page 6 that shifts attention away from the original negative headlines. I mean, they probably had a very realistic idea of all of the negative reactions to the polo show that were coming out within the next few days. So of course you'd plant such a pretty glowing, happy story about Meghan in page 6, allegedly. I would say the same thing about the holiday card. The holiday card changed everyone from talking about how awful the polo show was to like, look at how cute the back of those heads are. Oh my gosh, the back of the kids' heads. I mean, it was to me a perfect distraction. This approach can be effective, but it's also risky because if it's discovered, it can damage your credibility. However, Valentine Lowe was very transparent in explaining that he released his article on the Meghan Markle bully allegations as a counter narrative strategy. but he told me that his sources wanted to ensure that their side of the story was out there before Meghan and Harry sat down with Oprah Winfrey. So that is another one. That's another example of somebody pushing a story out quickly to counteract another one. I mean, we learned earlier this year that Meghan likely pulled the trigger prematurely on her American Riviera Orchard launch because she was determined not to allow Richard Eden of the Daily Mail to have that scoop. I would say that's another example. Perhaps he reached out for comment. This is what he says. He reached out for comment and she was not going to let him have that story. So she presses publish on her website and Instagram account. And then somebody from her team contacts People or one of her favorite outlets and says, hey, whisper, whisper, this is now live. And now Richard Eden's scoop is dead because they definitely launched it way too soon. I don't think she considered the consequences of that. First of all, the thousands of dollars she spent with the United States Patent and Trademark Office, but also the fact that the hype is just gone. I don't think anyone's looking at American Riviera Orchard thinking that this is going to be a home run. Everything these two do is so messy. I think it will have enough success, enough to justify its existence. And if it becomes that well-oiled machine and keeps Meghan busy, I bet she will find joy in that work, the same way she found joy in the TIG. I would not be surprised if Meghan released her own cookbook to complement her TV show and website. It would make sense. Her previous cookbook, Together, Our Community Cookbook, generated over $1 million for the Royal Foundation. I mean, likely because she was a royal. She will not have the same amount of support for her next project or her next cookbook, but someone would give her a chance to try. Plus, Meghan has had a mutually beneficial relationship with Prince Harry's publishers, Penguin Random House, whose children's department published her New York Times bestseller, The Bench. Fun fact, when an author buys thousands of copies of their own book to make the New York Times bestseller list, it's called self-funding. This process can cost between $100,000 and $250,000, not that I'm suggesting anything. American Riviera Orchard, plus this upcoming Netflix series, is the type of opportunity Meghan has wanted all of her life. She was pitching culinary shows before she even met Prince Harry. She will take full advantage of it. Expect a PR blitz. Meghan's team will try to use the media to paint her as a down-to-earth girl who's been completely misunderstood. Unfortunately for her team, once she opens her mouth and starts talking about palm trees holding hands, or how her and Harry are salt and pepper shakers, Meghan loses the audience herself. She can be so insincere and forced in those positions. The Sussex's Netflix project Polo has been universally slammed and criticized for being out of touch and pretentious. One review read, Polo is a mostly boring look at a sport that very few people outside of elite circles have any particular interest in. I am curious to see if Meghan's Netflix show follows the self-righteous archetypes format, which ultimately just turned out to be a bunch of one-percenters discussing champagne problems. Audiences don't want more virtue signaling. The preachy stuff did not fly with Spotify. The snotty Polo stuff did not satisfy Netflix. Meanwhile, the hype around Gwyneth Paltrow's lifestyle brand Goop is starting to wear off following huge layoffs at the company this summer. According to reports just after Labor Day, approximately 40 employees were let go from Goop. I absolutely adore Gwyneth Paltrow's products, and it did surprise me when Puck reported that Goop's affordable beauty and wellness line, Good Clean Goop, was in the bottom 15 at Target over the summer. Industry insiders have made concerning observations about the brand that could directly affect Meghan Markle's American Riviera Orchard. A well-placed fashion branding expert told Page Six, people have copied Gwyneth and it's almost impossible to retain the market share. No one can at this point. Consumer habits have changed. Gwyneth stayed relevant to her customer, but now she faces the question, does she age with her customer or does she try to skew younger? The way I translate that quote is, Gwyneth's audience is aging and their priorities dramatically changing. If you have to feed 3 children, run them to the soccer game every day, to cheerleading practice, whatever, can you afford a $3,000 facial laser that requires you to, an hour of use every day? It's called the Lima laser, and it's exhausting, ladies, let me tell you. Another expert said it's important to note that Gwyneth was the first mover in this e-commerce space with her newsletter and her weird products that were really based on her personality. But I'm not sure what the next version for Gwyneth and Goop is. What she does is not that unique anymore. The other point they are clearly making is that now she's competing with so many other celebrities who are doing exactly what she's doing. So she either needs to do something edgier and different with Goop, focus on what's next, or stay the same and accept that she will no longer reign in this space. One seasoned fashion writer who has covered Goop believes there's so much competition now among celebrity-led companies that some of them are doomed to sink. Will American Riviera Orchard sink or swim? Recent data indicates 20% of businesses fail within their first year of operation, and 50% fail within the first 5 years. RO has already been cited as one of the worst celebrity brand launches in history, a la Hulk Hogan's Pastamania, a pro wrestler's pasta haven located at the Mall of America in Minnesota. Opened in 1995. Closed in 1995. As we wrap up 2024, a Netflix insider tells the Daily Mail that Meghan's complicated cooking show may never come to fruition. What does that mean for RO? Managing all of American Riviera Orchard's moving parts will take a lot of work, and Harry and Meghan struggle to keep happy employees. That will be detrimental to their professional growth unless they can get a handle on it. They know of their poor professional reputation. That's why Team Sussex sent the bat signal to Us Weekly magazine to shut down rumors that Meghan was a dictator in heels. Will the Markle sparkle return in 2025? No. Too much hurt has been caused. The shine is gone. It's amazing how much damage you can do by insulting beloved, fragile, elderly people or trying to discredit a 1,000-year-old institution. I think there's an air of desperation this time around. Meghan will use her lifestyle brand, Netflix show, and Lemonada podcast, if any of those things actually come to fruition, to try to create a community to drown out her critics. But Meghan must display more commitment and discipline than we've seen from her in the last 4 years if she wants that to work. Meghan seems to quit when things get hard, and that's a difficult reputation to shake. Oh my gosh, if you made it to the end of this video, comment with the crown emoji or the word queen so I can see you. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share this video with a friend. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Kinsey Schofield.